What's up, everybody? Poppin John here, learntobus.com, breaking down all kinds of stuff for you. I'm here in a Desert Eagles production studio here in El Paso, Texas, and I'm gonna be breaking down something super dope. Okay, what I'm gonna be breaking down is something I called creating space. Okay, and it's a bad A illusion, okay? And you can add it to any style, which is the dope thing about it, okay? So adding this into any style gives any style a big illusion, okay? And you can take this concept and make everything you do eye candy. And you can do tons of different combos. Like if you have so many waves, yeah, okay, for an example, say you have tons of waves, okay, tons of combinations and stuff like that. This concept can quadruple, can double, whatever. It can give you so much more to the things you already have, okay? And I'm gonna break that down, a lot better, in this lesson. I'm gonna explain that. But what I realized is that I've been doing this for a long time, and I just realized, that I do this, and it has a lot to do with my dance, with the dance that I do, with me, a lot of the illusions have to do with this one subject. All my illusions, a lot of speed changes, a lot of my robot, a lot of my waves, all this stuff has to do with creating this space, okay? And I've touched on this in other lessons, but not this way, okay? And this is gonna add so much to your guys' dance, okay? So be excited, all right? And yeah, check it out, enjoy, and I hope you guys just take this 100% and just throw it into your dance, because it adds so much to it, okay? Poppin John here, learntobus.com. Enjoy this lesson, check it out. So, what I mean by creating space, right? I've already talked about this in some of my waving, lessons. Okay, but the thing that I'm talking about, okay. So, yes, I've already touched on some of this, but the one thing that I want to talk about is how big this subject is. Okay, I've touched on it. Yeah, create this illusion. I make a shape, with my wave or whatever. I'm making a shape, okay? You can rewind it, you can do all kinds of stuff. But what I mean by creating space is, what I do here is I create space out of nothing, okay? It's just the way that my hand is moving that I give the illusion that there's some type of force that makes my hand go up and around it, okay? So, this is where it will change your waving. It'll change your waves 100%. Okay, so instead of waves being just wiggling, yeah, like real tight waves like this, I do these all the time, Okay? It's a dope wave, but it's very limited, in my opinion, okay? These really little, these waves, they're so limited, all right? For me, that's basically what I can do with that. Okay, yeah, I have all kinds of combos, but, you can have all kinds of combos with those ripple waves, but when you create space, your waving goes from this much of an arsenal to, okay? And you can give big illusions, One thing that I've realized about a lot of my dance is that it's small. It's real intricate stuff. And I want to make bigger illusions, okay? And when I realized this making space concept, it's added big illusion to my arsenal, okay? So, check this out. For an example, this wave, okay? Basically what I'm doing is, it's not the wave through my arm. It's not me just wiggling my arm in a domino effect, okay? I'm actually creating a space under my arm, okay? So watch this. Watch the difference. This is wiggling my arm in a domino effect fashion. Okay, that's this. Okay, it's nice, it's clean, it's fresh. But check this out. Okay. Okay. Basically, the illusion that I gave is some force under my arm. You know, see that? It's actually like this space. Okay? It's not just, you know, rippling. It's, okay, see that? It's this space that makes this this illusion super dope. It's the space that I make. Okay? It's like there's space coming from my armpit out of my arm. Okay? So, for example, I don't have to do each joint like, okay? These are dope waves, but when you add space, this makes waving super easy. Like, it makes it so easy that you can just take it in any direction and not have to really worry about, I mean, I'm not saying be sloppy, but I'm just saying that if you take this concept into your waving, it will open it up. I mean, I don't want you to be sloppy. I still want you to be, you know, nice and clean. But this will make your waving bigger, and your illusions will be, you know, for people far away to see. Okay, like the stage at Just a Boo. You know what I mean? It's a stage in the middle of this huge stadium. You know what I mean? With tons of people far away. And if you're doing these waves, it's like, oh, you know, he did an arm wave. But if you do a wave like this, okay, it's a big move. So I'm gonna add on to this making space concept. Okay, for an example. Okay, so yeah, take this from this lesson right here. Okay, basically what I'm doing is I'm going around this space and I'm showing it move through my body. Okay, check this out. Okay, see that? It's a different type of wave. You know, I'm bringing my hand all the way down and I'm bringing this one all the way out. Okay? So just practice that wave. You'll start to understand it here. Okay? So just imagine this space right here. This ball. Okay? This ball right here. And it goes. Okay? I have this space here. Okay? Boom. Boom. Now watch this. Boom. See that? I added fixed point into this making space concept. Okay? Just like this. Okay? I'm making this space. Boom. Okay? Space. Here we go. So, making space is sweet. Okay? This is another, I'm going to add on to this. Okay? So basically I have this space in between my arms. It's not necessarily the waves that I'm doing with my arms. It's the space in between them that is making this illusion, okay? So this space, I have to really pay attention to the detail, you know, that I want my arms, you know, this far apart all the time. You know, I'm not thinking about doing, you know, my arms all, okay? I'm thinking about the space that I'm holding, okay? And when you think this way, it just adds a completely different feel to your waves, okay? To your arms, to everything. See, I'm not doing like this super hardcore movement with my arms. I'm just like cradling this space, okay? And I'm adding some speed change elements into it, but I'm really focused on this effect that I'm giving. You know, I have something here, okay? And it's almost like if I'm holding on to this, you can manipulate this space in a like an animated effect, in an animated like fashion, okay? So you can take this concept into everything, into robot, into waving, into tutting, into everything, okay? So the big thing that I want to tell you is that it's fixed point with making space, okay? That's where a lot of my Poppin John stuff comes from, okay? It's like I try to give those illusions that I have something, you know, and I can manipulate that, you know, in an animated fashion, okay? So I have this space here, And there's so much stuff you can do with it. For an example, if I have it under my hand, okay, I can move my hand to where I have it on the side, okay? And I can bring it up, and I can bring it down, and I can manipulate it, you know, wherever I want it to go. It's not necessarily my hand. My hand's not the subject. It's this space, okay? This is where a lot of dope stuff comes from, okay? Like, just the illusion that it gives is just like nuts, okay? So, for example, if I'm just manipulating this space with one hand, it's a little bit more difficult than with two hands, you know, it's like, but the illusion that it gives, it looks like, you know, your hand's doing this crazy thing, but you're manipulating the space. And this space can go, you know, into your waves, okay? And you can take it anywhere. You don't have this. I'm not saying that this is a move. The thing about this is it doesn't have to end. You know what I mean? You can take this concept and flip it into all of your styles, okay? And it adds just this dope effect. So, just for an example, I was talking about this, all right? So I have this space in between my arms. I'm not doing like super hardcore movement with my arms. I'm just waving side to side, okay? But I'm focused on this space that I have, okay? Boom, boom, boom. Now, check this out, okay? I have my space over here, and I want to move my body around that space, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking this boom to here, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to wave back with my arms like this, but I'm going to walk to the side at the same time, okay? So I have this space over here now, all right? So this is what it looks like, you know, real time. So I'm like this. Okay, so this is just really using your imagination and trying to give this effect. One thing, okay, here's another thing that I really like with this concept, okay? So that's that fixed point, you know, I was manipulating this space and then I would fix that space. Fixed point, boom, okay, to here, okay? You can do anything with it, boom. Okay, so now that I kind of like have this concept out in the open, now let's add it in different ways, okay? So check this out. This, I'm talking about waving right now. I'm gonna move on to tutting just a second, okay? So check this out. So I have this space, boom. You can make this, you know, I make it this big a lot, you know, just this small space. But you can make this space really big. You know, it's like, it doesn't have to be super small. But you wanna like pay attention to the detail. If I'm going all the way around this thing, it's like something big right here, okay? So you gotta like really pay attention to the detail. If you're going up over it, you gotta pay attention to your elbow. You know, if I'm going up over this, my elbow has to go that high. Look, I'm in a weird position here, but look at the shape that I have right here, okay? And I'm not doing this huge, like, difficult move with my hand and my arm. I'm just paying attention to this space, okay? So all I'm doing is really focusing on what your hand looks like going over that shape. You know, like you want to have that nice curve. If it's going to be a circular shape, if it's going to be a you know, a box shape, you know, you want your angles to be really nice. You know, boom, boom, boom. Okay, and then you can take that box. That's where tutting comes in. Okay, but just a second. So I make this space here. Boom, boom. All right. The big part is stretching your arm over it. Okay. If I'm just doing this, you know, I'm just waving. I'm just wiggling my hands. If I'm just doing this with my arms, you know, you have to stretch your arm over it. You have to stretch around it. You have to stretch around it. So I'm moving my whole body to show that space. I'm moving my whole body around it. All right. So this is a cool thing. I kind of just fell into this, you know, a couple months ago. But so what happens is I make this space, boom, and I manipulate it. I push it down, okay? And I really like that effect that it gives. It's like, take it, you can manipulate it, you can do whatever you want with it. Okay? And that's where your illusions just get nuts. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's difficult. Sometimes you'll lose it and you'll just have to practice it. You have to practice it a lot. And you have to really focus on the illusion that you're trying to give. You know, like, you gotta play with that. You gotta play with it to where you don't have to think about it. You know, check this one out. So basically what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stretch around it. Like, you know, the one that I just showed you, like I just kind of like grabbed it and I brought it down, like I pushed it down. And you can make it look like it's hard to push down. You can make it look like it's easy. You can make it look like it pulls you down, you know, like you have to follow it. It's so dope, and it has a lot to do with your imagination, you know? And you can take that anywhere. Okay. Okay, here's another one. Check it out. This kind of has to do with this pole that I do, this piping. Okay? This is just the same concept that I'm talking about. I'm making space, and I manipulate it, okay? This has a lot to do with miming. I mean, all this making space and big illusions, like this all has to do with miming. But I'm making this space. So when I take this pipe, okay? So I'm gonna go around it, boom, and then I'm gonna manipulate. I'm gonna manipulate this space, and I'm gonna make it look animated. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push it into me, and I'm gonna bring it out, and then I'm gonna push it into my body. Okay, see that? So I go like this. I go. Okay, and you can do so much with it. And if you can get real animated, it's like that's where it starts to get nuts. You know, playing with this space and then adding this animated like. You know, it's like you can freestyle it. And that's where stuff gets crazy, all right? So that being said, think about when you do just normal waves, like you're doing a wave through your arm, down your body, okay, whatever you're doing. Think about letting that space out, you know, showing that space. And a good way to do it is I already explained this before, is dropping levels, okay? So what I do here is I'm taking a wave down and I'm dropping a level. Okay, so basically what I'm doing is this space that's under my arm, I basically push that space into my body. See that? This space right here. My arm goes here, I kind of trap that space, and that goes into my body. Okay? So now that space is here. If you think that way about your waves, instead of just wrist, boom, elbow, shoulder, and just like doing a domino effect thing, your waves are always gonna look like this. You know, just wave. I mean, there's just waves. But if you think about space, you know, yeah, you can see similarities and stuff like that waving, but if you think differently, you can make the other people see that. Okay, so think about the illusion that you're trying to give, okay? And there's just so much to do. There's tons of stuff to do, okay? And it has a lot to do with miming and adding that fixed point stuff. It's fresh, you know. You can do tons with it, all right? What else can we do with it? All right? Making space. Okay, so with your waves, all right? Think about this space. This space that's under my arm, boom, and then that space comes back out here. So basically, I have to lift my arm up and let it come out, okay? If I do this, you know what I mean, it doesn't look right, because that space just kind of disappears, you know what I mean? It's like, it goes nowhere. So you want that space to come out, or you want to hold on to it, or you want to follow it with your eyes, you know? It's like, that's where your imagination can go crazy. And that's what I mean by you have all these waves, and this will double, your wave combos, because you add a subject to it. Instead of just, hey, this is wave, 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 you say, look at this space that I have. You know, look at this something that I have. You create this thing, and you make people pay attention to it. And that's where, you know, you're telling a story kind of, but your arsenal of waving just gets huge. You know, you have something, and it's dope. I mean, you can play with it all day. You know, when you have this thing, you don't have to worry about like, oh, I was already in that position or this and this and that. It's like you can do anything with it. You know what I mean? You can, you know, people play with like a ball. You know, like G style, they do like ball, like this ball, which this stuff has a lot. I mean, they play with that ball, that it's a space that they make, you know, but they think of it as a ball, you know, they're bouncing it, they throw it up, and then, you know, it goes through their body, whoosh, and then they have it here, and they pass it. It's like they're telling a story. So this concept, you can do it with anything. You can do it with the box. You can do it with a box. I mean, a square, a box, or whatever, but you just want to make sure that your angle is good, you know. You have to think about that box that you're making. Wherever it's gonna go, you gotta make sure your angles are good. I mean, you can take it anywhere. So this is a big thing. Like when I do these speed changes, I realize that I'm doing a good speed change, but the illusion is this change of direction in my hands. But a big thing about it is that I'm showing that illusion of there's something's right there, and it comes into here. It comes into, basically it goes from this area to this area. You know, it's like, it's not just, you know, a wave. It's not just I'm waving this way, I'm waving that way, I'm waving this way, I'm waving that way. It's I create this thing here, and then it pushes into this other hand, and I manipulate that space. So that's what makes these speed changes look really dope. It's because I create that space, okay? And it just adds so much to it adds so much to all my stuff. Now that I've been thinking about, you know, creating the space and using it with fixed point and, you know, the miming techniques and all this stuff, it's just creating these big illusions that I can't get away from. You know, they're just so nice. You can take it anywhere. Okay? So that is a concept that I wanted to talk to you guys about. And it's great, and I'm in love with it, and I hope you guys are too. So practice it, create that space, and like just change how you think about those styles. You know, like when you add that concept into it, you have to kind of change your mind state. You know, instead of just, you know, domino effect stuff, you have to think about this space that you make. Okay, and that's something that I just came across, you know, explaining, you know, different things to people, and it's just opened, you know, me understanding that that's what I'm doing. It's opened a lot of movement, a lot of moves, a lot of, you know, tons of stuff. So practice it and come up with your own stuff. You know, like you're completely free when you have that subject to play with, you know, and you can take it anywhere. So play with it, have fun, and enjoy it, okay? Poppin John here, learntobust.com. Thank you everybody for checking out the vids. That's short for videos. And Soulbotics crew in the house. Peep the products page. I love you guys and gals. Poppin John here. Peace out.